Big shout out to Sporting Icons, best channel out there.
Okay, so this weekend, Miami, Florida, the WBA regular world heavyweight champion Trevor Bryan will defend that title against his challenger Daniel Dubois. This is a 55-45 split according to the purse bid, which of course Don King won for around $2 million. Don King, of course, is promoting this fight. Trevor Bryan is, of course, a Don King fighter. Now, what I'm looking forward to the most in this one is Daniel Dubois not only defeating Trevor Bryan, who I don't rate at all, but getting rid of Don King from boxing. Now, that's not to put any kind of besmirchment on Don King's resume himself. What he's done in boxing, some of the epic fights that he's put on in the history of boxing, will stand and live the test of time. It will. He's a legend, no doubt about it. But he does not fit in this era of boxing. The things that he's done in the past, he thinks he can still do in today's era. And for some of it, he's still getting away with it. Like the outrageously biased WBA, for example. So Daniel Dubois dethroning Trevor Bryan dethrones Don King. Don King doesn't have anybody else that's going to go on and achieve great things currently. He doesn't have that pulling power anymore. But what he does have is a very good relationship with the WBA, and the WBA will grant his fighters ridiculous ranking positions. Trevor Bryan, for example, should not be the WBA regular world heavyweight champion. It should not have happened. But it did happen. Why? Because he's a Don King fighter and the WBA allowed it. How did he win that belt? By fighting Bermane Stiverne, a guy who come off back-to-back losses right before that fight, who should never be in that position. But why was Bermane Stiverne in that position? Because he's a Don King fighter. Why is it that Jonathan Guidry fought Trevor Bryan for that belt? Because Jonathan Guidry is a Don King fighter. Why is Dakari Scott, who's only had 7 fights, ranked in the top 15 of WBA? Because he's a Don King fighter. You can see the pattern here. You can see the pattern. So by dethroning Trevor Bryan, you are dethroning Don King. Don King doesn't have time on his side anymore. He doesn't. He can't sit around and wait for a Jonathan Guidry or wait for a Dakari Scott. Bermane Stiverne isn't going to have a miraculous comeback, and Trevor Bryan, in my opinion, wasn't that good anyway. Now, Trevor Bryan at the press conference was going in on Dan Dubois, mocking him and laughing at him and jostling him and calling him that he's a baby, he doesn't have the experience and all that kind of stuff. Basically, Trevor Bryan is a poor man's version of Big Baby Jarrah Miller. That's what he is. But without the PEDs, of course, or at least we're presuming. So, Dan Dubois, in my honest opinion, is going to mow through Trevor Bryan. He is. Don't be surprised if Trevor Bryan wakes up in the hospital. Don't be surprised. And I don't particularly want to be saying that kind of thing, because obviously what's happened with that South African lad and, of course, other fighters now in the past. I'm not wishing for that to happen. But I don't think Trevor Bryan can take the brutal destruction that Dan Dubois is going to bring. Dan Dubois, he's got his faults. He does. He does. But they're not the kind of faults that I've seen of Trevor Bryan, that Trevor Bryan can expose the holes in it. Again, Dan Dubois, he's going to have faults. He's a very, very young man. He is. But he's brutal. Trevor Bryan is just a blob on legs. Don't get me wrong. Trevor Bryan, he's got a chance. Of course he's got a chance. It's a heavyweight division. Anything can and does happen, but I don't give him much more than a puncher's chance. For those of you who have seen Trevor Bryan fight, yes, he's got some kind of ability. He does. But his resume is whack. Resume? I'm sounding like bloody Jonathan Ross there. Daniel Dubois' resume is far superior to Trevor Bryan's. Daniel Dubois becoming the WBA regular world heavyweight champion, which I predicted, several months ago. I said, don't be surprised if you end up seeing Daniel Dubois take on the winner of Joshua and Usyk. Don't be surprised with that. Many of you mocked me. Well, this is exactly what's going to happen. The WBA will mandate the winner of Joshua Usyk, the rematch, to take on the winner of this fight. This will be mandated. If not, then the winner of Trevor Bryan, Daniel Dubois, is going to fight the winner of Hughie Fury, Michael Hunter. Okay, so either way, interesting fight. Personally, I think it's going to end up being Daniel Dubois versus Hughie Fury. And then maybe the winner will go on and take on whoever's got the Super Championship. But there's so many different things that could happen as the WBA is up next for its mandatory. It is for the super champion. But I see Daniel Dubois as just obliterating, and I mean obliterating, Trevor Bryan. Honestly. Now, Daniel Dubois, he's going to have to be a little bit careful of some of those counter punches. He is. Trevor Bryan, I haven't seen anything really in him that will say, oh, he's pretty durable, or he's got a pretty good chance here. There's nothing there for me that would worry me. Daniel Dubois, yes, he's on away soil. He's going to have to knock out Trevor Bryan, even if he dominates Trevor Bryan. He's going to have to knock him out anyway. This is a Don King show. And as I've already explained, the relationship with the biasly corruptible or incompetent WBA. Trevor Bryan becoming their champion dethrones, gets rid of Trevor Bryan, which is great. Gets rid of Don King, which is great. Then maybe, hey, listen, maybe Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, wants Don King out of the way because maybe he doesn't feel like he will then have to be obligated to rank Don King fighters anymore. Maybe he does it out of a sense of loyalty for all the years that Mendoza's father and whatever and the WBA have had in their relationship with Don King before. Maybe he's just continuing it. Maybe he doesn't want to continue it, but he feels like he has to. Maybe he actually wants Daniel Dubois to beat Trevor Bryan, thus saving the WBA. It'd be very, very interesting if Daniel Dubois becomes the WBA regular world heavyweight champion. What's going to happen then? Are we going to see a complete overhaul of the rankings? Hopefully, because if we don't, then quite clearly this is all on the WBA, and they're doing it because they want to do it, not because they've been obligated to do it. We'll find out after this weekend. My prediction, Daniel Dubois to absolutely decapitate and knock out cold Trevor Bryan. Honestly, that's how I feel. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.